Good day, everyone. Welcome to SS031. Again, this is SS031. This is the contemporary world. And today I'll be giving you a course introduction, okay, on the contemporary world. And most importantly, I will be discussing your midterm OBE later. Yes, you heard it right. Your OBE, or your outcomes-based exam for this course, will be submitted by the fourth week. Okay, at least for our mid-year term. However, on a regular term, the OBE is submitted during the eighth week, before or on the eighth week. Again, this is the contemporary world. This is our course introduction. Okay, magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Welcome to this course. Now, this is SS033, and this is the contemporary world. And this course introduces students to the contemporary world by examining the multifaceted phenomenon of globalization. And when we speak of globalization, definitely we are referring to a world without borders. We are all products of the globalized era. And I hope that as we discuss this course description, you have already made sure that you have watched our course introduction, which is a different video lecture on this one. Yes, this course again introduces students to the contemporary world by examining the multifaceted phenomenon of globalization, and using the various disciplines of the social sciences, we will examine the economic, social, and political, technological, and other transformation. Okay, transformations that have created an increasing awareness of interconnectedness between people and places across the globe. Yes, again, when we talk about the idea or the concept of globalization and the contemporary world, we are zeroing in on the idea of globalization. And here we have our course outcomes for SS033, or the contemporary world. At the end of this course, hopefully, you students will be able to you'll be able to distinguish the different interpretations of and approaches to globalization. Second, we will describe the emergence of global economic, political, social, and cultural systems. Also, we'll try to analyze the various contemporary drivers of globalization. We will understand the issues confronting the nation state. And lastly, we will try to assess the effects of globalization on different social units and their responses. Again, please make sure to watch the entire video lecture specifically for the course introduction of SS031. I know that some of you have been under my class before, but if many of you have still not, then let me just introduce myself. First, ako po si Sir E. Ako po si Erland, Sir Erland Palayan, but please address me as Sir E. That is with an exclamation point. Mas gusto ko pong sinisigawan ako. So make sure na kapag hinanap niyo po ako, yung letter E po is with an exclamation point. And I will be your facilitator, your online class instructor for SS033. Again, this is the contemporary world. As I said a while ago, you will be having your coursework and your quiz on the introduction to globalization, and also on the course introduction and globalization. Please make sure to watch that video lecture before you answer our first coursework on introduction to globalization. So as I speak right now, your coursework is already available on the Blackboard. So please make sure that you read the entire instructions for this. So what we have to do with our coursework is this, and this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of the courseworks in this class. Now, you would have to watch our video lecture, Introduction to Globalization, in its entirety, because these lecture, including the introduction part, will serve as the backbones to all our lectures in this course. Now, please mind you people that you will have to follow all these instructions para po hindi kayo malito sa pagsasubmit po ng inyong mga courseworks dito po sa ating klase. Number one, do not include the questions in your submission. Just place a number before your answer. Say you would be answering the first question for the coursework, then you just write number one and then your answer. But you have to make sure to include your learnings from the video lecture because I will definitely be looking for this. Second one, you have to make sure to include your surname and your section in your YouTube submission. Yes, para po doon sa mga naging estudyante ko na, alam nyo na, you already know the drill. You would have to submit in two ways. Pareho nyo pong gagawin ito. You would have to submit in our Blackboard Learn bin. And also, you would have to submit your answer as a what? As a comment in our video lecture. Okay, kailangan pong pareho inyong isubmit doon. And then you would have to include your surname and your section in your YouTube submission. So you have an example here on screen. Number three, you have to attach a screenshot of your YouTube comment in your submission. Kailangan nyo pong i-screenshot yung inyong YouTube comment. And then with your submission, in your submission bin, the text, you will also have to attach a screenshot of your comment on YouTube. Okay? So you have to submit both on the bin, on Blackboard, and on YouTube as a comment in our video lecture. Okay, at least for coursework number one, you would have to write a 100-word minimum essay for each question, except for the last question, which is a yes or a no question. Now, if you will not be following instructions, meaning you will just be uploading your answer on Blackboard and you will not be commenting it on YouTube, nor will you be attaching a screenshot of it on Blackboard, then 2 points will be deducted on your total score for not following instructions. Para lang po maliwanag, your submission on the Blackboard is not and should not be an attached file. Wag pong Word file, wag pong PDF file. It should be a text submission. On your end, may nakalagay po dong write text here. Doon po kayo sasagot. What you can do is you type your answer on YouTube and then copy it and then you paste it also doon sa inyong coursework doon po sa my Blackboard Learn. I do hope that these instructions are clear and these will be the instructions, similar instructions for all the courseworks in this class. Now, for our questions for your first coursework, we have the following. First one, how does globalization affect people across borders? You have to explain this, 100 word each, the minimum. And second question, how does globalization affect you as a student? This is another 5 points. And then for the third question, what does globalization mean to you as a consumer? So you have to explain your answer on this, then you'll get 5 points as well. And for the fourth question, this is a yes or no question. Okay, the question is, did you watch the entire video lecture? So these are the questions for your first coursework here in our class. Okay, this is your coursework on Introduction to Globalization. Please make sure again that you will be able to watch in its entirety the lecture on Introduction to Globalization and also our course introduction where I explain for the most part what globalization and what this course is all about. Okay, now for our OBE project. Okay, again, this is being recorded so you would have your reference, okay, in the future about what to do with your OBE project for this course. Again, the OBE project for this course will serve as your Module 2 assessment. So for the summer term, your OBE project for SS33 would be submitted on or before the 4th week. And for a regular term, your OBE project for SS33 should be submitted on or before the 8th week. And here I will be explaining now the instructions for your OBE project, which will be submitted for which will be our Module 2 course assessment for the course, The Contemporary World. So this is your SS33 Module 2 OBE project mechanics. Please listen carefully to this. Number one, so the title of your OBE project would be this: Life in 10 Countries. So what you're going to do is to make a PowerPoint presentation, but you would be submitting this to me as a PDF file. Bakit po? Kasi masyadong malaki yung file sa PowerPoint. You don't have to have an oral presentation for this. Okay, I will be opening the bin earlier on, so if you will be able to finish this as soon as possible, then the better. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you would have to choose any 10 countries. Must be sovereign states. Okay, so when we talk about the sovereignty of the states, these should have the four elements of the states, which I discussed and I will be discussing in the succeeding lectures. And they should be coming from the following continents. So you will be choosing 3 countries from Asia, of course, except the Philippines, and another 2 countries from Europe, 2 African countries, and then 1 country from North and Central America, except for the US and Canada, another country from South America, and then 1 country in Oceania, except New Zealand. The reason is because I will be giving New Zealand as an example um, later on. So again, you will be choosing any 10 countries which are supposed to be sovereign states. Okay, so later on, I will be discussing in our lectures what the 4 elements of the states are. Okay, of course, there should be a government, there should be a people, there should be a territory. Okay, so these are the concepts of sovereign state. Now, the title of the project is Life in 10 Countries, and so to avoid making wrong choices, you would have to consult me via BBL course message. So I would be giving approval of your choices. Okay? Kailangan po i-consult niyo po ako rito para hindi po tayo magkaroon ng problema. Say for example, look at this on your screen. Ang pinili mong bansa is in Asia, okay, in the Asian continent are Japan, Bangladesh, and Saudi Arabia. And then in Europe, you got France, in Russia, and then Africa, you got Egypt and Ghana. In Central America, you chose Cuba. In South America, it's Argentina, and in Oceania, it's Fiji. Okay, so these are the names of the countries that you will choose that you would have to ask for my approval. And then you would have to choose these countries and make a research on these countries, given the guide questions that I will be giving. Okay, so you have to save these as a PDF file, okay, and upload your answer in the midterm OBE bin on or before week 4 of the mid-year term. Of course, at least in our context, it should be on the 4th week. Okay, and on or before the 8th week for the regular term. Now, each slide must contain a photo. Now, drawings are not allowed. Clip arts are not allowed. Tables and charts are not considered as photos. Now, the photo must not be a part of the PowerPoint template. So make sure to give citations to these photos, especially if it is not yours. Okay, kailangan po natin ng citation kung saan galing ang mga larawan na ito. So what are the guide questions for the countries? For the first slide, this is what you're gonna do. You would have to lay out on one slide the basic info of the country. So you have the flag, the map, the land area, the population, the products, the major religion. You don't have to include the minor religion and the official language of your chosen country. For the second slide, you would have to describe the system of government in that country, but you have to write it in your own words. If you got this from a source, then you make sure that there would be a proper citation for it. Okay, another is for the third slide. The question is, what are some unique cultural practices or festivals in that country? Now you have to describe them in your own words. And for the fourth slide, what is a unique food in that country? And for the fifth slide, what is the biggest problem of that country aside from the pandemic? Now, if you would be researching on this, definitely kailangan nyo po ng citation. Okay? Or else, sa Blackboard po, this will be tagged as plagiarized. Okay? So at least makikita ko that you made your citation and also you used your own words. Okay? For this. Okay? Make use of proper citations to avoid plagiarism. Also, especially dun din po sa courseworks natin. Okay? Sa coursework number 1, because definitely, inon ko po doon yung plagiarism checker sa Blackboard. And before you even submit, you will be able to check whether your works are plagiarized or not. Please. Okay, I believe that you are not first-year students anymore. So, you know the drill. There are a lot of students, especially every term na ginawa ng Panginoon, there are still some students who are trying to plagiarize. Okay, and I will always have to remind them that they cannot do that because that is a form of stealing. Okay, plagiarism, okay, is stealing of copyrighted ideas and concepts or pictures. Okay, so you should not do that. In your courseworks, you would not be needing citations. I will be needing your own introspections. I will be needing your own reflections, okay, for your courseworks, at least in this class. Now, and for the final essay on the very last slide, you would have to write an essay. Now, your essay must contain the following: your name and your program, and then you try to answer the questions below. The first question is, how will you use the knowledge you gained in SS33 when you are working in the profession that you have chosen? This is worth 10 points. Okay, make sure that this is 100 word minimum, or 150. This is for 10 points anyway. Now, what do you think will be your greatest contribution to the country as a student and as a future professional? Okay, so you'd have to explain this. This is worth another 10 points. So that is a total of 70 points. Here you see one country, you got 5 slides. Now you will be tackling 10 countries, thus you would have 50 slides. Each slide must answer one guide question, and each slide must have at least one picture. And each slide is worth 1 point. So the essay is worth 10 points for a total of 20 points. That means you have 50 slides, 50 points, plus 20 essay questions. So you will have a perfect score of 70 points. Okay, kung medyo nahihirapan po kayo sa objective type of exam, this is your chance, okay, to up your score. I think this is gonna be very easy for you. Okay, your citations are very important. I will be looking in those, okay, because you cannot make up ideas for these countries anyway. These are things that you have to research on, even the pictures. Okay, but for the reflections, definitely, okay, that would be self-introspective anyway. Okay, and then here's an example for the midterm OBE for you. Okay, so do not select New Zealand anymore because here's the example. So you see here, okay, this is the first slide for New Zealand. Okay, one slide for questions. So you will see here the details of those of New Zealand as a country. So you got the flag, the map, and so forth. And then you have the system of government. Okay, so you see here the example of the system of government. Okay, and I would be looking at this for this in your submission. This is the second slide. And then you have the unique cultural practices. Okay, for New Zealanders or for the Kiwis, they have a war dance called the haka. Okay, so this is a unique cultural practice. Okay, you don't have to show a lot or choose a lot of cultural practices. One or two is enough. And then you have unique food. Okay, that's the reason why they're called Kiwi. Okay, the people from New Zealand, it's the fruit that grows only in New Zealand, and they put it in many of their products. And then your biggest problem is another slide. Okay, and that's it. You have next the final essay. Okay, this could be 2 slides, 1 question per slide. Okay, at least for this. Okay. Again, for your grading system, I believe that you already know that we are already on a modular system grade. So your grade will be divided into three modules, module one, module two, and module three. And this will be divided into three for you to get your final grade, at least for these course. Again, I have already discussed your midterm OBE project for SS031. Thank you very much for listening to me, at least for these discussion. This is Sir E, your online class instructor. Thank you very much.